We're about to hop into game 2 between Thorzain and Killer. And as we do, we talked about, are we going to see some new styles? And I feel like
we did.
Killer, brought a very theory crafty, like, hey, man, if I just make Vipers and Hydras, I'll kill everything. And you're like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it. But in theory, you think that army's going to get wrecked. And he managed to pull it off versus Thorzain.
Yeah, I got to say, I mean, Thorzain, he's going to have to do something different. He can't, especially on that map, he can't just sit back. Like, I mean, I'm curious as to what his plan was to actually kill him. Because, if you're playing versus your friends, sitting back and macroing like that is great. But I was curious to see what was the follow-up. He tried to go for battlecruisers. Not quite sure what happened there. The units lost tab was just always heavily skewed into Zerg's favor throughout the entire game. So Killer, at no point I think he's going to lose, especially after holding out that Hellion harass in the beginning. Maybe Thorzain was hoping to do more with that, and it threw him off into a defensive position. But we will just have to wait and see as the countdown has begun. There's your winner from last game, Killer, taking a drink of that victory water, which tastes so much better than defeat water.
Yes, it does. It has a kind of bitter taste, like a salty tears taste. In fact, that might be the only flavor they have, salty tears loser water.
So good. Of course, that's going to be the map that we are on, which, again, this is one of the maps that's kind of laid out very interestingly. There is New Kirk City. So let's go ahead and introduce our players.
Let's do that. Starting in the southeast position, as the Red Zerg took game number 1 off his opponent. Give it up for Killer.
Clap, 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 says everyone at home. Because they don't actually clap anymore, they just say it. And down the bottom left side, a little bit of a rough start there for game number 1. Not exactly sure what his plan is going to be here for game number 2, but he's really freaking good at StarCraft 2. Of course, it's going to be EG's Thorzain.
Now, Thorzain went with a very, he started off the Reaper, he went with the Hellions, and then he went into mech. I feel like on a map like this, if you're not dropping, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Because there's so many places to come in from. There's opportunities for multiple drops. There's the ability to move into that third, and then as the army responds, pick up and fly into the main and just kill it down. Thorzain, in the past, has been an excellent dropper.
There's also a lot of dead space to put the medevacs
Exactly,
as well.
exactly.
So they can just sit there, and if you didn't see the game with Bomber versus Ghost User, he was able to keep like 4 medevacs alive for like an hour. Yeah. Like, you think I'm joking, but that game was over an hour long. So if we don't see drops here from Thorzain, I think I agree with you, djwheat. I think it's a mistake. We do have the gas coming up here right now. And I got to say, in that last game, if you're wondering, well, what happened there to Thorzain? I've kind of been thinking about it a little bit more. And remember, as you mentioned, the Reaper, Hellion, Banshee, Opener. Those are all fragile harassment units that were fragile and didn't do any sort of harassment. So it made his army composition just seem very wonky, seem very off-timed. And Thorzain right now opening very similarly to last game, but is the follow-up going to be the same? Yeah, and Drone got all the vision he needed to get, so he at least is equipped to know what's going on. I mean, the Reaper didn't really have that large of an effect, and again, it's just to gather some information. But we have the hatch into the pool for Killer. Is he going to opt to, to do something similar to what he did in the last game? I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure Husky doesn't know the answer to that, but we are about to find out now. We do have a Reaper coming out. Wait, did he start a Marine, cancel it, and then go to a Reaper? I'm not sure. I swear he had a Marine queued. He may have, but the Reaper is indeed going to be out right now, as he does have the SCV scouting around as well. So the Reaper will get the follow-up information, maybe try and kill a drone or two. I mean, the Reaper's one of those units where if you can kill even a drone, he's basically worth it, just because the cost of the Reaper is so little. 50 minerals, 50 gas, and the 50 gas more than makes up just for scouting. That drone right there has really got nowhere to go. And unfortunately, drones can't jump up cliffs, so he's trapped in there. Might get a second one here as well. And nope, builds the extractor there to save the drone. And the Lings are going to come out. So this Reaper is going to become a little less effective, but of course without speed, it's going to be a lot of attention. So keep in mind that while he's like, oh man, he's totally wrecking him, it's like Thorzain is putting all of his attention right here. Granted, this is the time to do it, not when there's a million other things going on at any given time. And look at this Marine for Thorzain, also inside his base, watching for this Overlord. Keep in mind, remember, Killer went in for those Overlord checks pretty early in the game. Yeah, that is an Overlord stare off there. The Overlord finally blinks and goes ahead and backs on out. Thorzain didn't really have a chance to kill that Overlord either way, even if he was able to, you know, go ahead and scare that Overlord on out of there. And I believe we just got an update. Was it Creator and Prime or?
Creator and Polt are currently playing.
Yeah, currently tied 1-1.
Yeah.
So that's on the other stream over there. As the Reaper is going to go ahead and continue to attack up the ramp. The Creep Tumor has survived. I kind of am wondering if Thorzain is hoping to get more Creep Tumor kills here, but there's just too many Queens there. So I want to know what Thorzain's game plan is going into both last game and this game. If only I could read minds.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
That'd make casting a lot easier. Be like, oh, hey, Thorzain's going to make a Reaper in 28 seconds. So just
like
don't have your mind
so good.
Oh, he's such a good analytical caster.
Oh, Reaper does manage to get back into the main base. He's just going to check things out. No, there's no crazy early lair or anything just wild like that. Reaper cannot get out, though.
He lost that Reaper similarly in the last game as well. So the Hellions trying to slip on in, but guess what? There's a acceptance party of a bunch of units here. So I just feel like Killer is stifling the build here that Thorzain's been going, although a pretty severe supply block here actually for Killer.
And here we have the Overlord coming in. Nothing. Actually, 2 Marines are going to be able to stop it, but he sees what he needs to see. Sees the command center going down, sees that there's no add-on to the starport, and that there's no add-on to the racks. So he knows that we're going to have reactor factory units, could be mines, but probably these Hellions, since he's already sent 4 out. But the medevac coming out, which we said, hey, if you're not doing drops on this map, you're doing it wrong. But I feel like he's doing these drops right in front of, it's like, Husky, I'm not going to steal this cookie from the cookie jar.
Right.
It's like, Wheat, why is your hand going into the cookie jar? Are you stealing a cookie? So he knows this is coming. In fact, he picks up right in front of the Queens, burns in, and he's going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how fast your medevacs are. If it's being seen every single time, might get a couple of circling kills here, but what he really wants is those drone kills, nice and meaty. The Queens even having time to come back down here to deal with this drop. And if Queens are holding off your speed medevac, Hellion drops. Oh, was that the medevac there?
Yep.
Oh, no. I mean,
and
the way that Killer's holding this off, it shouldn't be this effective. I mean, Queens versus a speed medevac and the Hellions, that was just a slaughter. Killer is being Killer right now.
He's shutting Thorzain down. And, you know, you mentioned it. Like, that was a command center and a little bit more right there. And, and it killed 2 drones. And that's not, you know, after the performance report of those 4 Hellions is turned in, there could possibly be a demotion. That was just not good. Yeah,
no, they're gonna bury them, and then they're going to demote them, because that's how bad that drop went. We do have a Spire on the way now for Killer. Could actually just go straight up for Mutalisks here. The main thing you have to watch out for are the Widow Mines, because they do attack air units. I know it's kind of a silly mechanic, but that is how they are designed. And really, I think the idea... What did he lose that time?
He lost that Banshee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man. I mean, there's just really not a whole lot to say about that. I feel like Thorzain practiced a very specific style coming into this matchup. That's what we're seeing is something similar, going a Reaper, going Hellions, going Banshees, slight variations here and there with the drop in this game, but it's just getting locked down by Killer, and I feel like it shouldn't even be that well locked down. I just feel like Killer's all over it. Now he's going to get the Mutalisks here, so drop's not really a viable option. I don't think he's going to be able to kill Thorzain with these mutas, but he sure as hell is going to have map control.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're seeing Thorzain go with that mech play, but I'm really impressed with Killer, Husky. I mean, I feel like he's been making the right decisions. He hasn't overcommitted in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, he also has had some phenomenal defense. Now, there's a scan from Thorzain. He doesn't see the mutas exiting his base, but what he does see is that Spire, and he sees it upgrading, pays close attention to it. So here we have a couple of Widow Mines out and about. Muta gonna come out. Ooh, actually taking, oh my gosh. Oh, so close to that second Widow Mine.
And also the Thor.
Yeah, and suddenly those mutas really did nothing. Only one has been lost. But will he be able to control space? Can he prevent any additional drops from coming down? Are there any holes here for him to attack into?
Oh, excuse me. I mean, this is very interesting because he is not following up with more Mutalisks. He transitioned out of these so fast that he knew he was not going to win with these before he even made them. I mean, he's going into a Hydro Stand. As the mutas were popping, he made something like 12 to 15 drones. He's making 6 more drones. So I think what he's trying to do here is scare Thorzain, force him to make the Widow Mines, force him to make the missile turrets, force him to run those Thors back and forth, keep him in his base, take a fourth, and macro from there on up, even delaying this third base over here. I gotta say, man, Killer is just honestly outclassing Thorzain every step of the way so far.
He is. He's got a really, really fantastic just game plan at all times. Here we got the Mutas coming in yet again. There's only a single Thor there and a couple of Vikings to try to defend against this. 2 Thors, rather. Nope, just the one. And I want to point out, like, Thorzain, just putting that third down, is so contained right now. And the Mutas have helped him to do that, will prevent any drops from getting out. But, I mean, look at fourth base is about 70% done. He'll have that up very soon. And that creep spread, the tumor, the amount that there are quite a bit. It's going to be a quick spread all the way across the map.
Yeah, and I was going to mention the same thing. Look at the main base of Killer as well. He actually spread creep, so he has complete vision of his base. You almost never see Zerg do this, and it drives me crazy. I know why they don't do it, because, you know, it still is a creep tumor, and it takes a while to actually fill up that base, and normally you don't have a lot of extra queens. Like, I get that. But the fact that Killer has been able to do it in this game, I mean, drops aren't going to be as effective. You can, once again, move queens back to deal with drops, which you almost never see as well. And now he's going to be having speed Hydralisk. He's got the Hive Tech on the way. And if Thorzain doesn't have an answer for, once again, the mass Hydra, then he's going to be in trouble. I think he made a single Roach, which is just chilling out there up the Watchtower. So he is one of a kind, man. He's a unique butterfly.
He is a unique butterfly, that Roach. Let's see if he can live throughout the game. We got the +2 attack coming with +1 carapace behind it. We are seeing an earlier move into the Hellbats. Whether or not that's actually going to make a significant difference, I'm not sure. But I do like the concept of trying to use it versus those Hydras. Right now, the Muta count has gone very low, down to just 7.
Right.
But it doesn't really matter because, once again, Killer is just using all of this as a distraction to expand beyond his opponent, get to Hive, get the Vipers out, and it looks like he will end up yet again with that Hydra Viper force.
Yeah, very similar to last game. I mean, Thorzain is even going for high-sec auto-tracking. So to me, this says this is what Thorzain practiced. This is what he was playing against Idra and Machine and the other Zergs to basically practice for this tournament. And I'm kind of curious to see, is it going to work versus the Hydra Viper composition? Did his practice partners, you know, try and do that same exact build? I don't know, because it did not work last game. However, Day9 mentioned this in a recent game we cast together. Getting a fourth base on this map is actually relatively easy compared to other maps. As you see, Thorzain is taking that right now. Gonna kill off some creep tumors here. There's so many, though, that he's gonna need to scan.
Oh my gosh, there are so many. And with more Hydras coming out, there's a few more Roaches being peppered in there as well. But Hive Tech's been achieved, and the Greater Spire is already on the way. Off of a 3-base Terran, you let your Zerg buddy get up to 5 bases, and at the point that he hits Broodlords, I'm not sure, you know, where Thorzain is going to find an advantage. Both of the areas that he would expand to, Husky, are currently occupied, and while he could probably move in and do a lot of damage, wow, this is a huge force of Blue Flame Hellions moving out. Will he finally have an opportunity to do some significant damage here to the economy of Killer?
I mean, there are 3 spine crawlers there, which makes killing off these drones tough because the Hellions want to attack the spine crawlers, not the drones. That's just how the AI works in this game. And there are more Hellions going to be moving out to the south side. Is this going to be the harassment he needs? There's no real drones there, though. Just going to be the gas mining. The other Hellions are still alive, slipping into the natural. This is a little bit more exposed.
Oh, this is huge. He's going to get quite a few right here. And keep in mind, if he can actually get all of the Hydras to come in, and no, that's not happening. Those Hydras are staying so far away. Actually, there's 2 in there, the brave ones. But 25 drones were killed. So finally, we see some sort of, I guess, harassment work out for Thorzain. Right. But how many Hellions actually died there?
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Units lost is relatively even. The Hellions down here killing off a couple more drones. But, I mean, it's to the point now in the game where Killer can just remake drones. I mean, he's got 5 bases up right now. He's got a lot of money, and he's got a lot of time because Thorzain's not going anywhere anytime soon. Even if he does, his army moves so slow. You know, I think maybe Thorzain's trying to rely on harassment to keep his Zerg opponent behind. But even then, killing that many workers, 26, like we were saying, it has to be more because the Hydras are just so mobile now. They're very fast that they can defend quite easily and let them re-macro.
I mean, to be honest, I would have loved to seen those Blue Flames actually used just to try. If they're going to be gone after the attack, if you're going to sacrifice them, quote-unquote, getting, I mean, I don't know if you saw, but like 3 of those will melt a Hydra. So you know, getting in there and doing damage like that to that Hydra Force. Granted, Killer's figured this out because he's already sitting at 3,000. He'll be able to repopulate quite well. And again, it goes back to the problems that we were talking about in Game 1.
You know, I almost feel, oh, there he goes, upgrading them into the Hellbats now, and that expansion, that's actually very effective at killing off drones. You can kill off queens much better as well, because it does make the Hellions do a lot more damage up front, and if Killer doesn't deal with this, it could actually become a problem. Yes, he's got a lot of money, he's got a lot of larvae, and a lot of time here, but eventually does kill off one of the mining bases there. But, you know, Thorzain is kind of making Killer's job a little bit easy as far as unit composition, because Thorzain is not changing his unit composition at all. He's playing a very predictable style, and if Killer gets the right units, should be able to crush it again. But you know what? It's StarCraft 2. Anything can always happen, and I'm curious to see what Thorzain's plan is.
Well, I think Thorzain is just going to add a few Broodlords to this and then pretty much call it good. He's going to let these mutas go ahead and go down. No, he's going to go in full for the attack. There's the Blinding Cloud. Units trying to move out, but not all the siege tanks are covered. And this time, it does look like there will be defense from Thorzain. Now,
wow.
Don't forget about the quick potential for basically a regrowth of this army, but the Vipers is the huge loss here, Husky.
Yeah, especially since that Viper right there, I mean, he has full energy. 7 HP left on him. Will get sniped there. Now, it's so weird to me, djwheat, because in the last game, Killer won by being very passive, by picking out units here and there when they were vulnerable, and it seemed like in this game he almost got bored. He's like, all right, I don't want the same victory to take so long, and decided to actually attack into a siege tank line, which is what Thorzain wants. So if Killer from now on plays it passive like we saw before, he's going to be fine. He'll be able to expand down to the south. He can also expand in the middle of the map. He's going to be just fine. Might end up losing this hatchery here, and he will. Although, you know, Vikings are actually pretty good versus Hydralisks.
They are.
When they're landed, of course, and will be able to save those. But I'm just confused as why Killer decided to go for that.
Yeah, again, I wonder if it was like because remember he had full 200 in that last game, and then he went in like between the third and the fourth, and you're like, why would you do that? You're going to throw it away. But he was at a point where he needed to do
the Vikings.
that. Oh, the Vikings are definitely going to go down. But now that he adds Broodlords to this, the siege line's going to, it's going to be a little bit easier to get in here, I think, for Killer. So Thorzain, even though he had that great defense there, I still feel like he's got to be careful. God, there are so many Widow Mines, though.
Yeah, the Widow Mines can be a deal breaker here. And I got to say, this is kind of like eating cereal one day with non-fat milk, one day with 2%, because it's basically the same thing, but there's like slight differences here as the playstyle has been slight. He's going to go for it again. He decides being aggressive is the way to go. Got to throw down the Blinding Cloud. I don't know if this is going to work out. The Seeker Missile is going to be happening right now as Thorzain getting lots of splash damage there on that army. Keep an eye on the supplies. That's going to be telling us how this attack is actually going. The siege tank's so far spread out, though. Blinding Cloud eventually runs out, and I still feel like Killer is throwing away a golden opportunity here by constantly attacking. I think what he should be doing is Nidusing that fourth base, doing something other than just running into where Thorzain wants. This is literally like running into a wall to try and break through instead of going through the door.
Army supply 109 for Thorzain, 68 for Killer, and suddenly the tables are turned after a single attack. Once again, maybe a preemptive strike similar to the first attack that didn't quite work in his favor. The Blinding Clouds were not covering all the siege tanks. There was still hits from the back. What I'm surprised about is I thought Thorzain might use that opportunity to try to attack those other bases that he knows are there. Yes, there are a good amount of static defense, but it could have been an opportunity. Here comes a full set of Hydras again, and I mean, I think Thorzain needs to keep up with those Hellions, and he is. He's adding several more to the mix.
Now we do have one Hellion up to the north, and Killer not going to be able to break the defense here. And I feel like this is exactly what Thorzain has wanted since game number 1, where the Zerg player feels like, uh-oh, I'm a little bit behind. I got to figure out how do I do damage? How do I do damage? This is impenetrable. And right now he's going to be moving up to the top left side, realizes that's not going to happen. Widow Mines take that out. Now Thorzain's getting a little bit of momentum in his sails. He's got to the Vikings out. Now they do have that 3 armor upgrade because they do benefit from the same armor upgrade that mech units do. And of course his mech army is now 3-3 as well. The base down in the bottom left side. Technically his fourth base still doing good. Lots of scans coming out. He's trying to spot where that army is and exactly what the army is at this point. But Killer really wants that top left side base.
Yeah, he sees where that army is. Oh, I thought he was going to move all the way across. Maybe he is. Yes, here come the Hellions. There's only a single Viper. If he goes into this line, oh, the fungal, it only gets a couple. The second one nails that group of Hellions, and he's going to be able to do it. But will he transform to Hellbats down here? No, he just goes ahead and uses standard to kill more drones. He throws those away, but 53 drones killed by Thorzain. Going to continue to make their way into the main base. Some more drones certainly going to fall.
Now, I gotta say, we do have a lot of battlecruisers on the way this time, which is what I think Thorzain wanted to do in the last game. And I gotta say, there's no corruptors this time. I mean, Killer is working on getting out the attack upgrades, the armor upgrades, still working on those, but he doesn't have the massive amount of corruptors that we saw. So Thorzain is dictating the pace of this game a little bit better, playing the exact same style that we saw in the last game, even going to be getting that weapon refit, giving the Yamada cannon to those battlecruisers. So I mean, who knows? This might actually work out for Thorzain this time. The slow, methodical style.
And, you know, to think that he did this off 3 bases, and his opponent's like, well, I mean, when you're 5 bases ahead of your opponent, like, at what point are you just not worrying about it? And, I mean, he's now, once he hit 200, he was just able to start banking, and suddenly we do see it's Thorzain who's sitting there with the very, very nice bank with 5,000, 2,000. Killers has gone back up, but he loses this, once again, let us reiterate, very fragile army. He's not going to have any money after a repopulation.
Yeah, super fragile. I mean, Hydras only have 80 HP. A siege tank has double that at 160. I mean, even SCVs are competing with that with their 45. Battlecruisers have 550. Ravens have 140. They have the same HP as Hellions, so basically think of it like that, where those Hydras are going to be dying mighty fast if he is not careful here. But the Raven Battlecruiser Cloud going to be tough to deal with just pure Hydra here.
Oh, he threw down the point defense drones. He's going to get an abduct on a couple of those Battlecruisers, but it doesn't even matter. The PDD's doing a great job. And unfortunately, Thorzain doesn't have more of a force to capitalize off of those point defense drones, but that's okay because we already see that Killer, despite having, what, 3-4 bases over his opponent, is going to put a lot of resources into defending this.
Yeah, oddly enough, he is going to be going for some Broodlords here. I think he must have made these before he recognized the Battlecruiser threat, because this is Sky Terran right now, and Thorzain, all of his units that he is making is replacing his mech units. Yes, he saw some siege tanks left, but I mean, he's making more Ravens, working on the +3 attack, so now he can swap between mech and air Sky Terran, going to either Battlecruisers, Vikings, or Ravens here, which could be devastating because he's been able to get this death composition up, and might actually be able to make it work now that he has enough energy for the point defense drones. Now he's starting to spread out these siege tanks. Thorzain just taking his time, but I think it might work.
Oh, yeah, I think the Spoon Terran is definitely showing us his spoon in this game as he meticulously moves forward this siege line. Yamoto cannons coming out, starting to target those infestors, and suddenly he sees that the Broodlords are here. He'll kill quite a few with Yamotos, and they are forced to move back, and suddenly the Battlecruiser's answer to this seems to be what we were wondering about.
Yeah, I mean, now that he has the exact unit composition that he needs, still, by the way, that base is very vulnerable to Nidus down in the south. Maybe try and get this army out of position. A couple infested Terrans here try and absorb some of the damage. Are we going to be seeing Blinding Cloud or Abduct? It does look like the Widowmine's going to be moving in as well, but he does manage to get the fungus. Here comes the Seeker Missiles!
God, everything just got annihilated, but the Fungals and the infested Terrans still went down. Is there enough left over? I think the answer is yes. There's still some Widowmines back here. These infestors have no more energy, and it was absolutely the Hunter-Seeker missiles that turned the tide in that battle.
Now, we do have 23 Corruptors on the way. Keep in mind that point defense drone extremely effective versus Corruptors, but the Corruptors are very good versus the Battlecruisers themselves. So we'll have to wait and see if he can actually make this work. He is going to have enough money to get remaxed out one more time, but how were his inject larvas? Does he have much larva? Yes, he does. He had 40 there, making even more Corruptors right now. So don't count out Killer just yet. He's going to have one army left to try and kill this up, but he's got to be cost effective because Thorzain is rolling in the money.
Yeah, and you know what? Even with all of those Corruptors, he's still going to be a bit limited on the Broodlord capabilities.
Right.
You know, he can't, well, he doesn't want to overmake. 22's a lot, but, you know, that is a serious threat, so I understand. It's very similar to when you're, you know, your Protoss enemy gets that much air and you're just like, my God, what do I need to do? Corruptors. But he lost that base. He's going to allow Thorzain to establish that. Let me just take a look at the other bases, because Thorzain never... Oh, we're going to have a quick pause. Excuse me, Killer never turned, we're just checking it. He's wondering, someone turned the stream on. Like, apparently they can see it. Of course, obviously don't want to get in that situation.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, very honest of Thorzain there to stop the game, make sure he has no advantage. I mean, he currently does have an advantage in the game, but, you know, right now Killer is making 5 Broodlords. He actually made a whole bunch and then canceled them. So we'll make sure that if they're able to see the game at all, that we'll get that taken care of and shut down and all that. But I got to say, so far we're only on game number 2. I think we've been casting for about an hour here as both games have been extremely long. And there's a shot of the players. We're 33 minutes into this game right now, and it looks like it might be ending in just a couple of seconds, but maybe not, because if Killer can be very cost-effective in this upcoming engagement, which is about to take place, it could just be seconds away, then you know, it could put him back into this game here. So Thorzain, I also... Oh, apparently Thorzain hears everything I say. Hi, Thorzain. You're very handsome. You're looking good. We love your red hair. I'm a big fan of anyone with glasses, by the way. A little bit biased there, but...
I have no idea, by the way. I have no, like, there must be some, like, phantom stream just, like, materialized out of thin air, because I'm looking over there. I'm, like, not sure where it is, but apparently... we'll get this resolved before we actually... All
right, well, now that they can hear us, we should probably let them know about all the Void Rays motherships that are coming out. I don't know if Thorzain's going to be ready for the carriers. He does have a lot of Vikings out, though. Yep. But the carriers with 6/6 upgrades, those are pretty good.
They're pretty good.
They're like campaign carriers. Like when one interceptor dies, it breaks into 3 more interceptors. Got to watch out for that.
All right, we've not gotten an update quite yet, but let's... And since I want to like talk about the game, but we can't actually talk about the game if they could still hear us. So
we can talk about that badass leather jacket that Killer is wearing right there. I think he's an actual real life hitman there.
It is gone. It is gone. All right. So they were testing the audio on the for tomorrow's stream, and that's why it went on. So yeah, GG Thorzain, excellent work. Thank you for the update. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Okay. And we're back into the game.
All right, so I got to say good job to Thorzain there. And also in the last game, neither player looked at the build order of their opponent when they left the game. So we have quite the manor bears going on here between these two players. But right now, I mean, Thorzain, he's all smiles up until it's go time, because right now he's got the killer, pardon the pun there, but killer unit composition that he needs to go up against this Zerg crazy amount of corruptors.
And he's going to go in for it again. Oh my gosh, those infestors getting pretty close. Throws out those infested Terrans to stop the Widow Mines. An excellent strategy from Killer. Yamoto coming up, nails one Broodlord, but here come the Corruptors swimming in to try to take out this Air Terran. Just everything has been expelled at this point, Husky. The Fungals have gone down. All the infested Terrans are out, but really all that is left are a few Corruptors for Killer.
Yeah, and look at the army supplies. Thorzain able to retain his units very well. That includes the 10, 11, 18 Corruptors now on the way, and Thorzain is still ahead in supply. I don't think Killer has got what it takes. This is exactly what Thorzain wanted in the first game, and now we're seeing it unfold here in game number 2. Now it is starting to make sense. He was going for Sky Terran, trying to buy as much time as he could, trying to get as many bases as he could. Now, if Creep Tumors could be turned into some sort of unit, I think Killer would be in good shape, as he has a ridiculous amount. But right now, I mean, what do you do here? You can see Killer actually making roaches here, trying to spice it up. Maybe try to drop, maybe try and use a Nidus Worm, but past that, I mean, all the bases in the bottom left side aren't even worth killing anymore, and all the units are protecting the bases in the top left, so I don't know what his option is.
Yeah, and everything that was involved in that battle has now been repaired. Roaches are going to be the attempted follow-up to this. But unfortunately, these units are trickling in, Husky, and eventually, I mean, you'll never be able to get enough flow out of that hose to actually knock this Terran army out of the sky. He's going to go in for it once again, but I feel like Thorzain has finally tipped this into his favor. And even if he wants to continue to be as meticulous as possible, he can, because he really has a severe upper hand right now.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at the units lost tab, if we can just bring that up, I mean, it's 54,000 resources lost to 28,000. That is not good news for any player, especially now when you're on an equal amount of bases. You can't afford to be trading like that. Now, Killer does have enough minerals to max out again. I don't know if he's going to be able to find enough gas. He's got to try and kill these siege tanks that are a little bit out of position here. But at the same time, they're also defending that bottom left side, buying him some time. So Killer does not really have any options right now. Even the Hellions going to be moving out for a harassment here. And I got to say, I've watched a lot of Thorzain games. I would not expect him to be this turtley for an entire series. I mean, this is like goodie status, man. Going to be turtling a long time. But... you know, if it works,
tearing to the next level, I guess.
If it works, man. Got to be tying up the series. Actually making drones right now, but got to be losing a lot more than he makes. And the Mass Hydra here, I think that this is honestly the best thing he can do right now. Try and negate the amount of Vikings he has, making them worthless in the skies. He does have 12 Vikings, Ravens, siege tanks a lot as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just noticing now, gases at 4 of the bases are gone. So he's really on like more of a 3-base gas, and actually not even that, because on a couple of these extractors, he doesn't even have full 3 going. And these, oh my God, look at that. No protection. Those 6 Hellions just melted the faces of those Hydras. In fact, he doesn't even need to bring these Vikings over. These Hellions can finish the game.
Yeah, and the gas even running out now at one of the other bases as well. So I mean, Killer, he's got no gas left. Taking a look at the spending tab as well, I mean, it's very similar to the units lost tab where, you know, a lot more has been spent on Killer's army, but he has nothing to show for it right now as the army, really, I mean, he would need like 8 chain fungals on these units clumped up to even stand a chance. I don't think Thorzain's going to allow that to happen. There's not even any infestors on the field, so that's definitely not going to happen right now. Thorzain throwing down 3 sensor towers there, so nothing's going to slip by him. And he's still turtling djwheat. He's just saying, you know what? You can't kill me at this point. I am unstoppable. You don't have enough to do it. I need to make sure not to mess up, and this game is in the bag.
And there's just like the one, and here we go. This might be it. He's looking for the opportunity to just lurch forward. The last remaining Hydras are on the run. A few roaches have been added in here, but I just do not feel like it is enough. Point defense drone doing some work right there. And again, keep in mind, the Hunter-Seeker missiles are going to come out. There's a couple charges of the Yamato. Of course, or Yamato, it's 100 energy, and it's full 200 energy on at least 3 or 4 of those battle cruisers. And, you know, that can one-shot these Vipers, the Corruptors. It's...
Oh my God, we're going to have Thor drops going on. Never have Thors move so quickly in their lives with those boosters. Of course, a Thor may be large, but it does not slow down how fast the medevac goes. So could be seeing some Thor drops. That base is actually vulnerable to Thor drops because there's only 3 spine crawlers there. So we'll see if that actually manages to work out. But again, you got to remember that Vikings do additional damage versus armored units, which is why the Corruptors just do not work because they do count as an armored unit. And right now, the Thor drop is commencing at the 41-minute mark.
And there they go. Gonna just start doing damage all across the board. Takes out 1 more of these. Keep in mind, that means the Hellions can run in. Will he pick up and get out of there? Yes, he does. Oh, that Thor falling out of the sky, hitting all those people down below. It's a sad day. Here come the Hellions back in. Now, remember what we said, where gas is the most starved resource for Killer. It's down to 300. He just got rid of some more workers here, and every single time he can do that, that will have another significant impact on Killer overall.
Yeah, I mean, Killer at this point is trying to get just maxed out. We do see a lot of mules being dropped here for Thorzain at whatever base number that one is, so that's going to get mined out super quickly here. Thorzain adding on a 4th sensor tower, so that's got to be some sort of MLG record at active sensor towers at one time. Surprised he hasn't added any down at the south where that Thor, recovering from his Thor drop, that long flight back and forth. But, he's going to go ahead and continue the Thor drop, actually, so hopefully he doesn't get motion sickness here. I think he'll be able to hold it off with what he's got. That, yep, you're going to get yoinked around all day. So manages to kill that off. That was kind of weird, that angle there that was pulled in at. But right now, I mean, Killer almost maxed out. Army supply, though, heavily favoring Thorzain.
Oh, and he's moving forward. This low group of Hydras is all by themselves. We see the Hunter-Seeker missiles. He tries to spread out as well as he can, and he only can do it so much. Now, Killer, I like the fact that he's taking advantage of his creep and creating some static defense here. I think that's a good spend of money. he's at 6,000 minerals, so that makes sense. I can rebuild a ton of drones. Let me get units without any gas because he needs to start pooling the gas. So for Thorzain, I feel like he needs to not let the static defense line up and let this game go longer, because as long as he starves his opponent out of gas, there's no max after this. Uh-oh,
pulling him over. This is what he needs to do here, is kill off as many of these battlecruisers as he can. Only gets one, though. It is going to take more than that to start evening the score, because he's got to kill all these battlecruisers and then some. What is the battlecruiser currently sitting at after that? 8 battlecruisers, 9 Ravens, 12 tanks, 12 Vikings, and 5 Hellions. Point defense drone there versus a spore crawler.
I don't think I have ever seen that before.
That poor spore crawler, he is trying so hard. He went to the Spore Academy. He graduated with honors, and look at him now. Just like trying to get a job after college, man.
Oh, and the second battlecruiser is pulled in. These small little plays do help Killer out significantly, but I still think he's got that paper army. He's got to be so careful.
Dude, I can't get over this Spore Crawler. He is trying so hard to make something happen.
What's crazy, though, is that he's just killing the energy right now.
Yeah, he is. You got to remember that point defense drones do have a lot of energy, so to actually burn through them like this is incredible and hilarious. The Hydra over to his left side trying to help out as well. God, that Spore Crawler. So many shots wasted there.
He's a hero. A hero indeed. All right, so Killer, he's really masked up here in the middle. Another tank yank comes out. There are so many Ravens here. He's going to go for
Grabbing
it.
a couple more, and whoa, bringing over 3 Vikings as well. Those are delicious, but it's still, it's still not enough, djwheat, as he does not have enough supply. Actually, Hellbat's on the way. Maybe he's hoping he pulls those over just for the extra damage. Yamada Cannon goes down. I believe that was a Viper that got taken out there.
It was. Now, I feel like this is just delay tactics from Killer. He is getting these Vipers ready, potentially try to blinding cloud all of this stuff, finally. But really, I think that as long as he can keep pooling that gas, and I just want to take that one's out. He's got 3,000 gas left there, but it's only coming in from a couple of bases.
All right, well, Thorzain's APM just dipping down to like 100 because at this point, really, what is there to control? He is finally losing the point defense drones. They time out, which is not something you see very often. And right there, you can see he's saying hi via a million scans right now. He's saying, look, man, there have been a lot of TVZs. We're all a little bit tired. Maybe just come over on my side of the board for just a minute. Let's make it a best of 3. Let's just do it. Lots of Zerglings mixed in, which I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll work.
There are a lot of Zerglings, and how many siege tanks? There's only 5 siege tanks here. I like this idea. Basically using it as a little tiny mini meat shield here, and continuing this sort of middle dominance of static defense.
You know what Thorzain needs?
What does he need?
3 more watchtowers. 3 more are the sensor towers,
that'll
rather.
do it, huh?
I think that'll do it. If you overlay enough, it actually forces the Zerg to attack. Here we go, taking out a couple of these units. Or you can get a side disruptor from the Brood War campaign. Those would be useful. Yoinking over a couple battlecruisers will be able to take these out, evening the supply here a little bit. And that other battlecruiser, the Hyperion, trying to get out of there, but that is not going to happen. And
I mean, those are he's taking out a battlecruiser every 45 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
There's still 6 battlecruisers. So we could actually be here for a while. It's going to be whoever decides to get impatient and commit. Oh, hold on. The Vikings moving out. And actually the one thing Killer doesn't have is any infestors. So is he going to go for it? I feel like he's just trying to buy time.
Yeah,
I think Thorzain's going to win this.
Yeah, I think Thorzain actually going for a nuke might actually be a really good choice here. Start busting down those defenses and maybe get lucky there. Don't be like Bomber and nuke your own army, though, which I don't think Thorzain would end up doing. But, yeah, it's time to... This is like chess. We're literally waiting for like 28 minutes for someone to make a move right now. And lots of scans, lots of sensor towers, but not lots of action right now. Just more Spore Crawlers going to be coming up. And that's about it.
I mean, really, I think that Thorzain's endgame is all about these Ravens. And then having everything else just clean it up. Because this compact group, if he just manages to launch all those Hunter Seekers it could be a really devastating explosion from within. And he's not moving forward quite yet. Crazy game.
You got to keep in mind that there are Widow Mines down below. So there's just some about the TVZ matchup right now where it evidently you get a lot of long, epic duration games here. Lots of barracks going down for Thorzain. I actually kind of like this. I think, you know, having the option to tech switch to whatever it is he's going to make out of there is a good one. You can remax out much more quickly just because battlecruisers take forever. Killer, though, going to continue expanding forward with his army and creep spread. Slowly getting close to the one mining base left of Thorzain. I guess Thorzain technically has 2 for right now. We'll see how long that actually lasts. But Thorzain is banking 12,000 minerals.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often unless I'm playing, but it does look like he's going to go ahead and try and bust up here with everything he's got. Is he going to go for it? There's going to be the Omada cans and the fungals. I mean, there's no investors here, so he's going to be relying on all good Seeker missiles everywhere. So many Seeker missiles. The Hydra's faring pretty well, but guess what? The battlecruisers eat them alive. No Hydra comes out there with its life remaining. And, well, you were right about the Ravens. His end game was all about the Seeker missiles, and he made it happen.
And now he just needs to move forward. I mean, he already had the advantage of his opponent being very, very low on that gas, and there is no way, I mean, well, yeah, 26 Zerglings. He is getting those 20 or so Hydras out, but that's it. That is one last chance.
I feel like this is the longest lost game ever, where it's been pretty obvious that Thorzain, after crushing Killer's army 3 to 4 times about half an hour ago, that there wasn't much hope. I got to hand to Killer. I got to say, if I was in his position, I would be able to... right now, it does look like Poltz has won 3-1 over Creator, so another series has ended over there on the other stream, as... if people are just trickling into this stream right now, well, you can see the game timer there. It's been at 53 minutes, and this is only game number 2. Game number 1 was about 30 to 40 minutes, and both these players, man, just refusing to lead this game.
Yep.
And does Killer have any gas income at all? I think it's just off of one base.
It is really, yeah, it's really low. I mean, we're talking 222 right now, and he's not going to have any more. I mean, there's not a base he's going to be able to take. It's this middle base right here. He's doesn't even have a full 5.
Even the SCVs are so bored, they're killing themselves. They're like, just get us out of this game. It is not worth it.
Yeah, I agree with you. If this was in Control's tournament, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but the thing, like his biggest pet peeve is when there's no GGs, when it, you know, it's like, when someone's like, they're just staying in to stay in. Right now, In Control is very upset about this.
He's backstage right now. He's breaking nerds in the back.
Yeah.
I don't know, ripping off his EG t-shirt, which he's got another one underneath so he can rip it off later.
Oh, well, hold on. Yamato comes in the moment that it gets pulled in, and the ooze.
And what do you know? What do you know? Killer's still not ahead here, as he was able to kill 1 unit. And he has tapped into that 10,000 minerals that Thorzain has, bringing it down to 10,000 from 12,000, so...
These are definitely the types of games where I screenshot their mineral count so that when people, you know, so when I'm streaming, they're like, wait, you're floating like 5,000. I'm like, dude, it happens, okay? The pros do it.
Yeah.
And then just show the screenshot. But I also want to point out, like, when you get to the point where you can't tell if it's static defense or a creep tumor, you're really far in the game. Did he really?
Oh, we're getting word that he may have spelled something with his creep tumor somewhere. I personally don't see it. It's all a blur to me right now.
Waldo? Yeah, that's not gonna.
I will say you can tell he just had an epiphany. Is that the right word? Is that how you say that word?
Yes.
As he's now making 7 queens at a time. I think you realize, you know what? That's the last unit they could possibly win this game with. Although I don't know how well queens do versus battlecruisers. Probably not the best. And we killed a spore crawler. Round of applause, everybody at home. Got a spore crawler. That was fantastic. Oh, he's gonna kill 2. Nope, 0 units. Just kidding. Everyone at home got really, really excited there for a second. But it's okay. We're not gonna torture you by killing 2 units at once. But we will kill off a battlecruiser.
Now, sorry, I was thinking about another story. There's at one point a League of Legends game that went so long that when a war to die, which was just like such an insignificant kill, like that's what people do, just they would celebrate. And I feel like we're getting to that point, Husky.
Oh, we're getting there.
A spore goes down, and it's like, yeah, we're one step closer.
Oh, he does manage to pull over several Vikings here. But Thorzain already back up to 12,000 minerals. So really no direct damage dealt there. I think a Siege Tank's in range of several spores, so he'll go ahead and move those back because we wouldn't want those to die.
Nope.
And, you know, I almost feel like you've been telling stories. I feel like we should actually just write a story. We should just write a little novel. Not about this game, though, because that would be quite boring, but maybe, I don't know what it'd be about. We could write Legacy of the Void right now. We'll just send it over to Blizzard. We'll have enough time for 3rd and 4th drafts. We'll hear feedback on Monday from Blizzard saying, no, you need to change these things.
You know, the other thing, too, Husky, is that if I would tell you that you could almost mine out Newkirk in 58 minutes.
I would say you're crazy.
Yeah, right? And it's not quite happened, but you're getting pretty damn close here.
I mean, the SCVs in the top left, they've given up. They're like, well, we mined out the entire geyser. Here's some more Yamada cans. Kills another Spore Crawler.
Oh, but the transfuse.
Did he save it?
No, he almost killed this one, but then he transfused it.
And the Creep Tumor goes down. Got a Creep Tumor.
Oh, I mean, you know what? I feel like Thorzain was like, look, community, I kind of think you don't use Spoon Terran enough anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you why you once called me the Spoon Terran.
Until there's a Reddit thread with 1,000 thumbs up declaring him forever the Spoon Terran, he actually refuses. He is holding this tournament hostage right now. Oh, there goes a Viking. We got a Viking.
Oh, and the transfuse on the Spore Crawler again. I mean, with energy replenishing, it's possible for a game to actually go on forever.
That is true. Someone has to die in real life at some point, though. So, I mean, I don't know.
Be like, ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry to announce that Thorzain and Killer will not be able to attend the MLG 2014 events because they're still playing that one game on Newkirk City.
They haven't finished the 2013 event yet. All right, it looks like he might go for it here. Nope, just kidding. That would be too nice to us, as he did lose, I think, a Queen in that mix. Pulls over a Siege Tank here. And it's not often that I cast with my face resting upon my arm, but this is one of those times.
I mean, and there are all these Hellions out here.
You know what? At this point, I just want to beat EG in Control and Total Biscuits game. So we got about 15 minutes left to go.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So at this point, we don't want them to finish this game. All right. Our producer is trolling us, saying he has to pause the game, which is not true.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir Scoots.
Here's a thought.
All right. Let's hear it.
I feel like this is how Thorzain needs to win this. Over here, he has so many Hellions. In the middle, he has these kind of slow Queens.
Right.
Just run past and start base racing with his Hellions.
There you go. I like it. Whoa, he's actually killing off multiple Spore Crawlers here. Killer letting this game get away from him, losing 3 now. Oh, but the transfuse is going to end that. And you know it's a good game when the drones are setting up a concave. So, oh, he yanks over a Hellion. There we go. Snipes the Hellion at the 1 hour, 2 minute mark. A brilliant move there by Killer. Surely he's going to be back in this game. He just has to do it. Is it 1,280 more times? Am I doing that math right? Or how many times?
Really close.
Or is it 100 Hellions? I'm so bad at math, guys.
Oh, there go the Hellions!
Oh, and gets the one shot off and decides not to shoot again. Wait, where's the transfuse? Doesn't do it in time. Manages to there at the end.
Man.
You know, I gotta say, this game has a lot less nukes than the one that Total Biscuit in Control had.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Seeker missile count kind of high. But the overall nuke count pretty low. And I love how these barracks have just been built and there's nothing going on with those. They've been hanging out there the entire time. So
yeah, you know, going back to what you said, Husky, I mean, a nuke could have made this a 30-second shorter game, I think, too. 30 minutes is what I meant to say, but that might be the difference.
Probably more accurate here. All right, we got some Spore Crawlers versus...
Marines!
Oh, there they are out of nowhere. The Marines making a resurgence with the 3-3 upgrades. The drones are pissed. Oh, but Killer says, I'm staying back here. I think Marine's actually a pretty good choice here because now he's up to 13,000 minerals. I think that's a first here for this game anyway. There's the Spore Crawlers, the try-hard Spore Crawlers. They are never giving up. And I hear Yamato Cannon going off. I really hope he's using them on drones. That would be ideal.
Maximum effectiveness. Now that the Marines are coming out, the Viper's like, sweet, we can blinding cloud too.
We're going to be relevant once again. All right, so currently rocking at the 1 hour and 5 minute mark.
We're just a few moments away
from a battlecruiser taking half its life in damage. Oh, he's going to take it down.
Man, the battlecruiser number has been depleted a little bit here. Oh, the Ravens. They're coming off to the side. Feel like he wants to go in.
Oh, Hydra versus 3 Marines. Hydra the winner there. Oh, and he gets all 3 Marines. That's 150 minerals out of his 12,000. You know, I am being quite sarcastic.
Oh, we've got a
drop?
Oh, we've got a drop.
He knows how to do this. He's going to be doing a drop.
Yes.
Nothing back here to defend. And it is 90 supply to 200. Unfortunately, I think this game's going to be over before we beat the previous record.
It is.
I think so, unless Killer really wants to troll us. But the drop in the main base, down goes the Evo Chambers. All of a sudden, Thorzain with a well-timed drop here. This drop wouldn't have worked at any other point in the game. Only at this very second would this been effective.
The 1 hour, 6 minute, 3-3 Marines. Haven't seen them all game. You think I'm going mech, then air, psych. I'm actually going bio the whole time.
That's
and
actually
here we
his
go.
Entire build. The Hellions going to be going in there as well. The Hydra's actually holding their own Marines. Got to be going down. Mass transfuse here on these units. Thorzain still not able to break. You know that Linkin Park song, I'm about to break, I need a little room to breathe? Neither of these players are singing that.
Neither of them.
Oh, the Spore Crawlers are backing up, though. Now could be Thorzain's chance to get 2 more inches on the map.
The Hive's going to go down, and that Hive will not be recreated. No more Zerglings as we're at the spawning pool come down. Finally, the army reacts, pulling away those medevacs. And those Marines going to do a lot here. They actually are going to do a lot.
Yeah.
My God. They kill everything. Yep. I mean, all the important units, because I don't think Queens are finishing the game.
Do we know how long the last game was?
I believe game? 1 hour, 20 minutes. So
we still got 13 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like we should go whisper to him, just be like, just hang in for 13 more minutes. We have a record to set. You know, I feel like MLG should give out like awards, like little ribbons. So like longest casted game goes to, you know, them, or or biggest flub on air. I would get a lot of those. But does look, he might actually be ending it right here. The blinding cloud, though, not going to be enough because those units are just going to walk right on through. I think this is going to be it unless he has crazy transfuse micro, which these Queens are not actually dying here. So we'll see if he can manage to pull this off. Those Queens are not dying, djwheat. They are out of energy now, though.
Oh, there's just a few transfuses remaining, and they actually killed a ridiculous amount. And look at this army isn't doing anything. Why isn't he using the? Why isn't he using the Ravens? Oh, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Here's the
I have
Ravens.
100 supply back here. I should probably bring in. Oh, I guess the Spore Crawlers are there. He doesn't.
He
want, but
finally got a Ghost Academy. We might be seeing a nuke. Really happy about that.
Yeah, every tech. The most amazing build ever.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Sean, are you going to be on the analyst desk for this game?
Oh.
He says no.
That's too bad.
He says no. Well, it's basically a lot of Spore Crawlers. What's going on there?
Wow, he actually...
It's 37 supply, by the way.
He actually Yamato'd the Creep Tumor. And you know what? At 34 supply in the In Control StarCraft 2 tournament, he would actually just cut to us, and we would GG for them.
Yeah, right. The spectator would GG.
Yeah. 30. I don't know. I must not have been paying attention because 34 supply. Why? I mean, maybe
he thinks it says 340 supply. Maybe that's what he thinks.
Maybe he thinks that Thorzain is as broke as he is.
Oh, but he's not. He's got a couple Lamborghinis worth of minerals in there. And we do have cloaking. We have Ghost. Does he have enough to actually make a nuke, though? Yeah, he does. He can make 2 nukes. 2 nukes for this game. But he's mining gas, I think, with 1 SCV, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 1 SCV is mining gas. There's the try-hard Spore Crawlers once again. Gonna back them up.
I mean, I keep on thinking Spoon Terran.
I just want to beat the record. That's all I want.
Spoon Terran. Well, I mean, dude, the fact that it's 32 supply and we are still in this game, I feel like they want to beat the record too.
I think so. Maybe they've actually switched places at this point. They're playing each other's computers for Epic Labs. Oh, Seeker missiles.
More Seekers going in. Bam, bam, bam.
All right. I think we got a queen in there.
All right. Nukes. Any nukes?
I don't think he made them yet, did he? Unless I've been actually sleeping.
Nope. I think you're right. I haven't seen one either.
Yeah, no nukes yet. He did finish the cloaking. I think he even did the Mobius reactor, which is hilarious because he can't afford to make... Wait, no, he spent too much gas on the upgrades. He can't make a nuke. The Marine count, this has got to be enough. There's no way this isn't enough. And there's the GG! Well played, guys. And, you know, I got to say... that's all I got to say.
We're now tied 1-1 in this series. This is a best of 5. Based off of game average, I expect that the next game will be an hour and a half. There we see that Killer's going to go through the replay. That'll take 30 minutes, so we're all going to take a break.
On times 8.
Before we go on. No, seriously, we are tied now in this Foreigner versus Foreigner matchup. Killer has the first game. Thorzain takes the second game. This best of 5 will continue for the last match in the round of 32 because over on Red, round of 16 has begun. But guys, we will be back. On behalf of myself, djwheat, and Husky, take a quick break. When we return, game 3 between Killer and Thorzain. Don't go away.